In this video, I'd like to create a custom USB box, something to hold these. Now, if you're anything like me, you've got USBs all over the place. I've got a bunch of these, and I'm going to take measurements on this, and we're going to create a USB box complete with a hinge and maybe a little snapping mechanism to keep it closed. So I'm going to start by creating a sketch. And we're going to start on this bottom level. And I want to get a measurement. I've got my calipers here, and I want to measure this out. This seems to be about, we're going to use millimeters. This is going to be about 60 millimeters by 23 millimeters for the length and width. So I want to get a center, I want to start this rectangle from the center, right? So I'm going to press S, and then I'm going to start typing in rectangle, and you'll see this center rectangle right here. And I'm going to click that, and I want to start it right in the center of the origin. Always seems like a good idea to start there. And then I said 23 by 60 millimeters. And if you're following along and your design is not set in millimeters as a unit, you can go up to here under the document settings, and you'll see units in millimeters or units in inches. You can click on this change active units, and then you can drop it down to millimeters, centimeters, meters, inches, foot, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to stick with millimeters, and I'm going to set it as default, and I'm going to press OK. So now we've got the basics of this USB insert. Now I want to hold maybe 8 USBs in this box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pattern, and I'm going to highlight all this, and we're going to create a rectangular pattern. And what you'll see are these two arrows, right? This arrow takes everything out on the X plane, and this arrow takes everything out on the Y plane. So I want to do a 4x2 pattern, so I'm going to click 2 right there. And what I like to do, I want about 2 millimeters between each of these. So you'll see that it's going center to center, and that one says 61 millimeters between that. I want to get 62. That should work. And I want the same thing on these patterns going off to the right, or the x-axis, and I want to do 4. And you'll notice it is in an extent mode right now, meaning that from this point to this point is how it's measuring. I want from this point to this point, so I'm going to change this distribution to spacing, and I'm going to set that at, if these are 23 inches wide, I'm going to set it at 25 millimeters across, and that should give me 2 millimeters between each one. We don't need a lot of spacing in between the USBs. I'd like to keep them kind of snug to keep this box small, but I would like more thickness on the outside, because I am going to 3D print this later, and I want everything to stay together. So I'm going to press OK on this rectangular pattern, and just to be sure, let's do a measurement. So I'm going to press I on my keyboard. Also, you can just go up to this inspect button and measure, and I'm going to measure between these 2 points, and that is 2 millimeters. I'm going to close that. Actually, let me press it again, and I want to measure between these 2 points as well. So we've got a 2 millimeter by 2 millimeter box. So let's make the outside edge. I want this to have a 4 millimeter thickness for the edges. So what I'll do is I'm going to actually create another 2-point rectangle. This time I'm going to use it as a construction line, because I don't actually want to use this to extrude or anything. I just want it for my measurements. So I'm going to come up in this top corner, and I'm going to make a rectangle about 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters. And I'm also going to do the same thing for this bottom right point. So 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters, press enter. Now I want to create an entire box around this whole thing, and that's going to be the outside border. I'm going to do another 2-point rectangle. I'm going to take off the construction lines, and you can do this by clicking this construction on the line type, or by pressing X. So I'll press X, come up here, top left, bottom right. And now you'll see it's making a 4mm exterior. And I'm going to finish sketch. And now here's where I get to extrude. So I'm going to press extrude. And I like to put a hotkey on my extrude because I use that a lot. So right now it's Q. If you want to change the hotkey, you can go up to these three dots right here, click it. I like to pin to shortcuts, I like to pin to toolbar, but I want to change keyboard shortcuts. Right now it's under Q. You can put it whatever you want. I like to keep it at Q. So I'm going to hit Q, press OK, or in my case cancel. So I'm going to click Q, and you'll see it comes up with the extrude dialog box. I'm going to click this outside and inside edge. And I want, let's actually measure this USB. For the thickness of this USB, it's 11. I'm going to go about 12 or 13 just to give it a little bit more depth. Alright, and we'll extrude these to 13. Now you notice I've only got the inside. I want to make a bottom on this too. So I'm going to actually go up to my sketches. I'm going to make it visible again. And now underneath here, I'm going to press Q again. And this time I'm going to highlight the outside, but I'm also going to highlight all the internal boxes. And now I want to go -4 inches, and that's going to make my bottom. I'm sorry, I said inches, -4mm. And one thing I forgot to let y'all know, if you go back to this timeline, and I'm going to edit feature, I did set it to join. Usually it'll automatically be set as join by default, but if you wanted to have that a separate body, you can click new body. In this case, I do want to keep it as join, so I'm going to press OK on that. Now I want the top box, my cover for this USB, and I don't want to recreate this sketch, so I'm going to use this same sketch, and I want to highlight all of it like I did before. Oh, what did I just do? Oh, I said create new sketch. No, I want to extrude this. And you'll notice I hid the body, and that was just to click on this sketch a little easier. Okay, so now what I want to do is I don't want to extrude it from there. I actually want to extrude it from this top section right here. So what I'm going to do on this dialog box, I'm going to start not from the profile plane but from an object, and I'm going to click the face of this object. And then I'm going to extrude it 4mm. Now at this point I don't want it to join. I want it to be a new body. So I'm going to click new body. I'm going to press OK. And I'm going to hide this sketch, and what you'll see is I've got two bodies in this document. I've got this bottom body and this top body, and let's label these. Bottom body. Actually, let's type in bottom USB box. How about that? And this will be named top USB box. So now what I want to do is I want to try and create a hinge for this box. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to extrude a circle along this edge, and then I'm going to place some connecting points on the bottom for this bottom area, and then connecting points on the top for this top area. So let's do that. So I'm going to create another sketch, and this time I'm going to place it on the right side of this box. Let's make that visible again. So now I want to go right along this edge, and I want to see if I can create a circle. So I'm going to press S, start typing in circle, and it'll give me these options. I'm just going to create a 2-point circle, and let's see if it'll let me. Okay, so it will let me click that edge, and then I want to create an 8mm diameter circle, and this will get us 4mm of that circle for the top, and then 4mm for the bottom. And then what I also want to do, I'm going to escape in that, and I want to press L for line, or I can click this button up here. And I want to, this is actually going to be a construction line, so let's make it a construction line. So let's press L again, construction, And the reason I do this is just to get a starting point for this other line. And this other line is going to be a regular line, and that's going to be up here. And then now I want to see if I can't snap to down here. Well, let's not do that line yet. So I want this opposite point from here, and you'll notice Fusion already gives me this guide. It didn't give me this guide up top, but it will give me this guide down at the bottom now that I've made another line for it. So click here, go all the way to the edge of this box, and then I am going to make another line just in case, because you'll see, let's stop and do this. You'll see it made a shape that's enclosed here, and I can extrude that, but it doesn't make a shape that's enclosed here. So I can't extrude that. And you'll notice that by the slight shadowing of blue on these construction lines. So I'm going to press L again, and then I'm going to click that point and click that point, and now that's going to enclose this entire shape right there. So let's finish sketch. And now I'm going to start off by this top section. I'm going to press Q for extrude, and I'm going to click the circle, and I'm going to click this bottom connecting point, and I'm going to go all the way across to this side of the box. Before we continue any further, I want to pause this video. It's getting too long, and I'll continue the rest with the next video. Thanks for watching. If these videos are helping you out with your Fusion learning experience, please like and subscribe. Thank you.